Welcome to Women Beyond Limits. This is a podcast celebrating the strength and courage of women who rise above life's toughest challenges. This is a place to embrace the power of our journey, face our fears that hold us back, and find inspiration in the stories of so many heroic women. Through their experiences, we learn valuable lessons about resilience, perseverance, and the importance of faith and a supportive community. Today, I feel so honored to have one of my dearest friends, Noel Rippe, to our podcast today. She comes with more than just her story. Noel herself is a dynamic speaker and art therapist. She does transformational coaching for over 20 years, empowering others, leaders, to thrive through art. And the reason I want you to know who Noel is because this is so significant to her story, because she herself is a healer of others. And she comes with her own set of tools and recovery and experiences that have guided her to where she is today. She has used these techniques to bypass the brain's limitations through art, unlocking growth. She's got unique workshops and retreats that help people clarity so they can reconnect to their purpose. She knows how to harness gratitude to create lasting changes. So you can see that being here in this moment in her life that she's going to share, these are significant parts of her own healing process. Noelle had in her home, a beautiful magic garden that she cherished. And this is part of what she lost in the fires in the Palisades. She had just launched her Magic Garden Circle membership the week after the fires. Can you even imagine the strength that it took to do this with your members online when you just went through this horrendous loss? I mean, her community was so inspired by her beautiful garden that she lost in the fire. And I was there. I was there when she was building it and creating it. And we had so much joy together. And we would sit out there and just enjoy our times and just glory in it. It was truly magical. And this is the place where she fostered this creativity and transformation for her members. The power of the garden and growth and all of this was really what she connected with in transformation. So while this real garden is gone, Noelle has told me she is deeply grateful to have created a virtual haven for her members. And just to remember that this is real time for Noelle. This isn't something that she's telling that happened. A lot of times people will come on here and they will be telling their stories from the past, but this is real time. She's currently going through this. She's currently experiencing the challenges, the pain. And honestly, I don't know if she knows where her next step is going to be, but she's working through it. And she had the courage today to come here and share with her heart what it feels like and what she's going through. So without any further conversation on this, I want to introduce you to my dear friend, Noelle. And I want to open this up to just asking her to give us a little bit of her story on where she was, what was happening in her life. She's currently out of the country, and she'll tell you how that happened and where she's navigating from here. So go ahead, Noelle. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, Robin. Yeah, you knew my beautiful magic garden, and I already start crying. This is Mercy Middle. Before the fires, I thought 2025 was going to be my year. I worked so hard on 2024 in my marriage, in my home, in my garden, and my business. I created this beautiful virtual garden thinking, oh my God, all the people who are really wishing to come to my garden and they can't because they come from all over the world. I'm going to create a beautiful garden exactly like the one I have in my backyard. So people from all over the world who cannot travel and experience the magic. So I hired this team of people, incredible artists, and together we built this
beautiful, beautiful membership that was going to be launched on January 15th. And then the fire came. And I was here in Uruguay, where I'm right now. We come here for New Year's every year. Also, my father passed away this year, so we were going, and I couldn't come. So we came with our daughters, my husband, to say goodbye and do the ceremony of the ashes and all of that. So we were here. I'm ready, set up. If you're a coach, you know how much work that is. I had all my videos done, all my emails done. Everything was ready for my best year yet. And then, I don't know if it was January 6th, 7th, 8th, I don't remember. I'm having a coffee with a dear friend I hadn't seen in 1 year, very close to where I'm staying. I come home and I see a million messages from my daughter, one of my daughters. And when I come here, I say, what's going on? And she says, Mom,
The Palisades is on fire. And I was like, okay, it's the Palisades. It's horrible. I can't believe another fire. But I didn't think it was going to burn our house, our little neighborhood.
and I get home, I start getting worried. It didn't sound good. And then I get a call from a very dear friend, Lavinia Erica. And she says, Noel, I don't know if you know, there is a horrible fire. The fire is really close to the neighborhood. My son is in front of your house. Do you have any valuables? He could go in with a code and get your valuables. And I thought about it. And I said, is it that bad?
And she said, yes, Noel, it is that bad. And he doesn't have more than 5 minutes. The fire is moving really fast because of the winds. What do you take, Robin, when, like, what's valuable? I don't have jewelry. I don't have expensive art or I don't know, or vases or stuff. But everything was valuable to us. The table where my daughters learned how to write, where we celebrated every birthday since we moved to America in 1998, that was valuable, but it was huge. How can I ask someone to take the table, right? All of my clothes, I'm a fashionista. I love clothes. How am I going to ask someone to risk their life for my clothes? So the only thing that came to my mind was like, you know what? Don't risk anything, but could you please turn on the sprinklers in the garden? Because I loved my garden so much. I loved my lemon trees and avocado trees. I had been dreaming for 12 years with having a garden. I lived in an apartment. I wanted the garden. LA is so expensive, and we couldn't do it. So I asked, could you please do that? And he said, yes, I'm going to do it. So the last message I have from him is like, it's on go, it's on run, it's watering everything. Let's pray. And that night was very difficult to sleep. But I went to ChatGPT. My friend Lavinia, who almost lost her house to the Malibu fires, she said, I went to ChatGPT and asked it to give me the best prayers. So I got 4 or 5 prayers and I start praying out loud. And then one of my daughters comes, what are you doing? I'm praying with ChatGPT. Yes. My husband comes, my other daughter comes, we embrace, we start praying. We look at the map and the fire was all around our neighborhood, but it hadn't jumped, apparently, the watch duty map. So that night it was hard to go to sleep, and I think maybe we slept at 3 in the morning, but by 5:30 or so, I wake up and I hear my husband crying and my daughter's crying, and The whole map was spread. So we were praying that the fire had spared our house, that the firefighters they are trying to save something.
and by the end of that second day, we got a picture,
Or horrific picture of a war zone or zombie land or something, like everything, every house in the whole block and the block behind and the block, everything is gone. Everything is gray. Everything is just gone, dead. But the next day, we needed pictures right away, right? because we need to start the claim. There's so many houses burning down. You need to be fast with insurance. Thank God we had an insurance. Thank God. The things to be grateful for. The insurance people were very kind, but we needed pictures. So our future son-in-law, Francesca's boyfriend, Brandon, very courageously went the next day to take pictures. He couldn't get through. And the fire was now attacking Santa Monica. He had to run on his bike back. And the next morning, he came at 6 o'clock. He left his car, jumped on his bike, just pedaled, went up there with a mask and with everything, and took pictures and videos of the entire neighborhood and posted them online so that all our neighbors could have detailed information to claim their insurance. So the amazing thing is when Brandon went and took the pictures, and we were still hoping because the picture we saw, our house would have been behind this hedge. So we thought maybe, and Sol, our youngest daughter, still had hope. And she said, maybe it's still there. Let's pray that it's still there. We kept on praying, but the devastation was so big, even if our house had survived. The pain for everybody else's loss and for an entire neighborhood that is gone is so overwhelming. And amazingly, our lemon tree is alive. Our avocado trees are alive. I think the trick of having the sprinklers on worked. And the table where I run the retreats, Robin, you were there at my first and my second retreat. That table is a wooden table. It's still alive. It's still there. Didn't burn. The little pergola on top fell but didn't burn. The chairs around it didn't burn. Everything else is gone. In every house, nothing is there except for that and the statue of Saint Francis, who was watching the garden and stayed there and was very far away from the sprinkler. So I don't know how that survived. So needless to say, it is a level of devastation. It's unimaginable. And I know these are things, Robin, but your home has a life of its own. It's not just things. It's just the home you spent 2.5 years building, 12 years dreaming about, making sure when you have a home that you love, everything in it you love, and everything has a purpose and everything has its place, and a studio where I would go every morning, no matter what time, I could sit down and be in flow. I never had this before. A garden that my friends, when they were having bad days or good days, they would come and sit, and we would sit around the flowers and the trees, and we would have these hummingbirds coming around. It's not a mansion. It wasn't big. It wasn't fancy, but it was our home. And I'm feeling so freaking homesick right now.
When I heard, I felt like so devastated too. I mean, I could feel your pain, and I knew how much you loved your home. And I know you said something so profound. Yes, it's a home, it's a thing, and your dog didn't burn up, your kids didn't burn up, but we are human, and we do invest in our wonderful comforts and the beauty around us. And you had really poured yourself into this and made it just like you wanted. It wasn't some, just home you bought off, whatever. And, and you moved in. It was customized the way that you made it so beautiful. And there's so many haven areas of it that were beautiful and they represented you. And I have to tell you, every moment I spent in your home was cherished. And my memories of your home is beautiful. And I know we talk about this. Noel, I've already talked about this. Yes, we're going to rebuild that home. Notice I say we. I feel like I'm part of it because I feel like I was there for the first half.
Videographer for the whole thing from the minute we got it. You were there the night we made an offer. Remember, we were watching the Oscars with Lupe, and I said, "What are you doing?" "I'm signing an offer." I was so nervous, and we prayed together to get the house, remember?
And I took pictures of everything before she remodeled it. I'm like, look what Noel did. And I mean, I have before and after pictures. So like this was something she was deeply involved, committed to making it beautiful, customizing it. And Noel, I just have such love and respect for you coming here and sharing this because I know this is not going to be an easy journey. You have powerful tools and ways of dealing with grief and challenges in your life. I know you do, and you've helped so many women over the years and people, just men, everyone. And in these moments when it's so personal to you, and I have to say, Noelle is not unaccustomed to tragedy. You know, we look at people like Noelle and we go, oh, well, she had a house in Malibu. She must be rich and lives a comfortable life. Noelle has been through, Noelle, tell them a little bit about some of the, just briefly, some of the challenges of your life that you've already been through.
Yeah, I have to say first that I'm so grateful because God has blessed us with a beautiful life, beautiful parents, beautiful family. But also, we have faced huge things like growing up in a dictatorship where you had no freedom, that I was terrified to speak about. That haunted me for the rest of my life. I'm just recently at age 50. I think after 50, I learned how to speak my truth because I was so afraid of talking. My mom got diagnosed with cancer the day before I found out that I was pregnant for the first time. She passed away the week before my youngest daughter was born. I gave birth to her alone. My husband was in Europe filming, working because my daughter came ahead of time, both of them. Then we were there in 9/11. We saw the thing come down. We had to walk out of the city with the girls. They were little, and I had one on my hip, the other one in my hand. We saw the end of the world that day. And now the fires. And we also went through some financial hardship at some point. And I feel like all of these things have prepared me. And I feel now that this happened, I know it's not, I believe in a God that adores us and loves us all, like with so much, like in unconditionally, right? And I feel this is not a punishment, but it's okay. But there is a sense of responsibility and a sense of, if this is going to happen, I would never wish this on anybody. But what can you learn? And I feel hardships and going through fire, and this time literally going through fire, is what makes us grow. I'm all for growing. I really believe that we come to this life to grow, to learn, to become better people. And I feel every tragedy, every devastation I went through prepared me, gave me more compassion. Now I will never look again at someone who lost their home thinking, okay, it was a home. You can go buy your things again. The insurance, you had insurance. You're so lucky. You have a community because it is devastating. And I feel every time I have been put through something like this, like everybody goes through tragedies. I'm also very, right now, we lost our home. We are so homesick. Yesterday, it was Sunday. My husband and I were so sad not to have a place to just, your sofa, to watch a movie, your stove, to cook a soup and to just chat, right? But there is something about understanding the human experience. So many people, when I started posting, I had women saying, I lost my home, but not to the fire, but an abusive relationship. I lost my home to a divorce. I lost my home to financial hardship. And there's so many ways in which you can experience loss. So I think being active and showing the messy middle, what people think my life is perfect and it's not, it has never been. And people think I'm joyful because I have it easy. And it's not true. People who know me, truly know me, know how hard I have worked for everything on top of being blessed by God with a lot of gifts. But I feel these moments are the ones like, okay, is life happening to me or for me? Tony Robbins says that. And I think I'm choosing to say life is happening for me. And if I can use this moment of devastation to bring strength and hope to other people and joy, how do you connect with joy when happiness is not available to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your mindset and your attitude is phenomenal, Noelle. And I really, you know, what do you feel like you could give anyone listening today as a takeaway from going through a tragedy like this? Like, what tools, maybe what could you share? You've shared some powerful things, but if you were to hand them a tool, what would you say they could use to help get them through and navigate their way out of this difficult situation that they find themselves in?
Yeah. One of the things I feel is that if you're having a hard time, reach out to your community, invest in yourself. Do not suffer in silence. Do not isolate yourself. But if you're in a good season, if you have it all and things are going well and you are set up for the best year yet, stretch yourself. I really believe that the universe doesn't like the vacuum, right? That the universe will force us and God will give us opportunities to stretch ourselves. If we don't choose them, life will choose them for you. So, a few years back, after recovering from a financial crisis, I was kind of comfortable. I could have said, you know what, my girls are out of the house, they're independent, they're doing great. My husband is working well, he's doing great. And I will just go coast, right? Going to rest. But I didn't. I felt, okay, what's next? I was a little bit bored with my life. I was a little bit, not bored because I always had things to do, but uninspired. And then I said, okay, what's next? This is not the time. 50 is not the time to start coasting or going to sleep or getting comfortable and complacent. I signed up for some courses. I realized, okay, what's my new purpose? Because if I didn't have a purpose right now, if I had been living a mechanical life, doing everything I always do without putting myself in their comfortable position to have to grow, I would be devastated. I would have nothing to hold on to. So, finding a purpose, something that excites you, that lights you up, even now in the middle of the devastation, I couldn't launch a week after it was all set up. But 2 weeks later, I went and I ran my workshop. I started posting a week after all of this. I started posting about all I have lost. I became vulnerable in front of the camera. Remember how I told you that because of the dictatorship, I wasn't able to speak up, not even at the dinner table when I didn't know the people? Imagine doing it in front of I don't know how many people online, right? But for me, having a purpose that lights you up, something that stretches you, something that has you on your toes. That's one. Serving is another one. When you know that some people have it worse than you, that yes, we lost all like the home and the garden and everything and the cars and the clothes and all of that, but we still have the family. We still have the community. We have an insurance. There's so many people who have it worse. So when you connect with that, you find strength in helping others, which I have so many friends who have lost so much in the fires. And then the third one, which is something I use, is that leaning on something like art. I'm an art therapist, and the whole Magic Garden circle and my programs and my retreats, I use art every time to bypass the brain, where all the fears and all the limitations and all these beliefs of, oh, I'm too old to rebuild, I don't have what it takes, I'm not worthy, all of that lives in your head. But when you use art, and I have been using art a lot these days since the fires took our home, to go straight to your heart, you realize what you're made of. You realize that those dreams, in your dreams, you have this childlike quality, this beauty, this strength that can make miracles happen. If you have that, a beautiful community that will not be judging you but supporting you, and then you have God, trusting that God has your back, trusting that He wouldn't have put us in this if we didn't have the strength to come out of it. So I think this whole combination and showing up for my community and the people who need me, this is weirdly, I have never been more in tune, more excited. and more inspired to serve my clients than I am right now in the middle of all this devastation. We don't know where we're going to live. We're still in Uruguay because we don't have where to go. I think we're going to crash on our daughter's sofas for one or the other one until we can find a place to stay. We don't have cars to move around, and in LA, without a car, you can go anywhere. But you know what? I have me.
You do. Well, I'm so moved by the wisdom and just the practical perspective you have on moving through such a difficult time because, so often when our hands are emptied, we don't know what to do next. But clearly, all of the steps throughout your life that you've taken, all of the things that you've built emotionally and, strategically are strongholds for you now. And I just, for our viewers today, I just want you to hear Noelle's words and, you know, thank you for sharing this so vulnerably and so beautifully. And it's just a reminder to all of us that no matter what we go through, no matter what losses we have, that in our hardest moments, like healing and restoration is possible. It's possible for us. And that, that faith and that community, those things will really hold us together if we don't pull in and isolate, right? Because that's the worst thing we can do is to pull in and isolate. And there are always resources and there's always God and he's always there listening to us. And I love, Noelle, the way that you stated that, these, you've been through difficult roads and, you look at your life and those pieces of your puzzle have strengthened you for your journey. If you had really lived this princess life with no struggles and all of a sudden your house burned down, you wouldn't be able to cope because, the- but every piece that we go through in our life as women, whatever we experience, whatever hardships, they are building character and strength for us to give us hope and resilience. And that's clearly what it did for you, Noelle, is that's what's given you the courage to stand here today and say, I can talk about this huge loss in my life and I can feel it deeply and I can still walk through my own personal fire. And that's really what it's been. We hear people talking about rising from the ashes. That's a metaphor. You are literally doing that right now. You are rising through that horrific situation in your life. And I have the most respect and love for you. And I want you to know, my friend, I will be with you on your journey to rebuild. And we will make your world more beautiful and more magical than ever. And this piece of your puzzle is a huge statement to anyone with loss that shows that don't build your house, don't build your world, don't build your life on something physical. There is more to life. Don't lose your purpose, don't lose your faith, and don't lose hope because losing all of those things are really a burn down like you've never known. And so thank you so much, Noelle. I cherish our friendship. I look forward to our future together. And I want Noelle to just share a little bit briefly about how to contact her and what she does and how she might be able to help you going through something like this. So I'm going to hand it back over to you, Noelle.
Yeah, so for me, one of the things that I have discovered is that through art, when you come up with a vision, I'm all about joy and finding a vision that lifts you up, that makes you wake up in the morning and so excited. Lately, when I go to bed, and I'm not manic or anything like that, I'm a psychologist, I would be able to diagnose myself, but I used to go to bed feeling like, oh my God, I want the morning to come because I'm so excited. And it is possible to have that kind of life, and it is possible to have that kind of feeling even when you lost things. Because when you enter my world, Robin, the vision is not about what you have, what you accomplish, what you will get, but it is about who you're going to become. And art is such a beautiful tool to get there. So, for any of you who want to find a new purpose, maybe you feel I'm too old for it. I found my new purpose after 50 when I thought it was going to be all downhill. And I feel younger and more excited about my life than ever. It made my relationship with my daughters better, with my husband better, and everything else. So if you need a little bit of Noel's magic. You can find me. I'm Noel Rippe, Noelrippe, on Instagram and Facebook. And I have the Magic Garden Circle, which is a membership that probably Robin will share the information with you. And you can join. You can join anytime. We're having beautiful meetings every month for 90 minutes. We get together, we do art with purpose to discover something deep about yourself. We trick our brains so that the heart can speak and we can tap into what we really, really want, what we truly love doing, and we follow our bliss among a group of people that support you, hold you accountable, and make your life so beautiful.
And I will be putting Noelle's contact information on our Facebook page. So if you're not on there, go ahead and join the Women Beyond Limits Facebook page so you can connect with her directly and follow her on Facebook and Instagram. And again, Noelle, it's been a magical moment. Even in your pain, my friend, you are powerfully and magically and beautifully made. And God has blessed you with a spirit of resilience. And I just want to thank you for being here. And I'm sure that when everyone hears this, they will feel the same way. Again, thank you, my friend.
Thank you. I love you, Robin.
If today's conversations have stirred something in you and you're searching for healing, direction, or just simply a guide or a way through, I invite you to reach out. Together, we can explore your needs, and I really love and be honored if you wanted to join our community that uplifts and empowers women. Remember, you're never alone on this journey. With faith and support and determination, you can step into a life beyond limits. Thanks for being here. I'm Robin Horton, your host, and until next time, continue to break barriers, conquer your fears, and walk boldly in the limitless purpose that God has designed for your life.